This time on Video Game Tango, we start things off with more Bobby Watch.
Fuck you, Bobby.
And dive deep into the Game Awards and the games showcased. Then we jump straight into the Matrix, video game child exploitation, Final Fantasy Intergrade coming to EGS, and the true price we pay for video games.
Nick facts. To each their own fetish, but Josh's kinks are truly foul.
Hi, I'm Josh, and my brain knows where my organs are, but it won't tell me.
My name's Russ, but you can call me Maurice.
And I'm Andy. Welcome to Video Game Tango.
The tiny hands.
So we've got some Bobby Watch.
Fuck you, Bobby.
So it doesn't necessarily have to do with Bobby Kotick, but, you know, being the CEO of Activision Blizzard.
Adjacent.
It's adjacent. Yeah, so they're doing some union busting again. So fun thing is, so what I didn't know is that there is Brian Bellato. Brian Bellato is what I'm going to say his name sounds like.
Mr. Benedetto.
That's the one. Mr. Benedetto. So he used to be a former Trump employee.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun one. So actively union busting, sending out an email also to kind of scare potential unionizers. So it says, everyone at Activision Blizzard, we are working hard to create a more inclusive, supportive, and rewarding environment, and thanks to your input, we are making progress. In the past few months, we've announced that we're converting nearly 500 temporary workers to full-time employees at Activision Publishing Studios. This is, of course, during the Raven Studios walkout. Mm-hmm. And we've increased wages for a large portion of temporary workers and added paid time off benefits. We introduced a zero-tolerance harassment policy and waived required arbitration of sexual harassment and discrimination claims, which, you know, should have been done from the formation of a company.
Yeah.
Most companies have clauses to waive
litigation
for arbitration.
De facto. We have made significant commitments to increase gender diversity and are dedicating $250 million to accelerate opportunities for diverse talent across the industry. We have more to do, and we believe that direct dialogue between management and employees is essential to the success of Activision Blizzard. As you may have seen yesterday, there was a communication supported by the Communications Workers of America, or the CWA, that asked employees to sign and submit union authorization cards. I want to be clear about this. The leadership of Activision Blizzard supports your right under the National Labor Relations Act, NLRA, to make your own decisions about whether or not to join a union. As you make this decision for your future, we ask only that you take time to consider the consequences of your signature on the binding legal document presented to you by CWA.
Veiled threads.
Yeah. Once you sign that document, you will have signed over to CWA the exclusive right to represent you for the purposes of collective bargaining, considering all terms and conditions of employment. That means that your ability to negotiate all your own working conditions will be turned over to CWA, just as the document says. Yeah,
that's what a union is.
That's yeah.
You to know.
All you're doing is describing a union.
Doing.
Trying to do it in a scary way, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Just sending veiled threats. So achieving our workplace culture aspirations will best occur through active, transparent dialogue between leaders and employees that we can act upon quickly. Because that's been such a good you've got just such a good record of doing that in the past. You know, when people have brought these claims to you in the past, you acted on them quickly, not denied all the claims or swept them under the rug.
They said it's the best way to do things, not the way that they do them.
That's true. That is the best way to do things. It is not how we do them, though.
Yeah.
That is a better path than simply signing an electronic form offered to you by CWA or awaiting the outcome of a legally mandated and regulated bargaining process sometime in the future.
Purple pros.
If we fail to achieve the workplace goals we have set forth, if we fail to do the things we've committed to doing, then of course you will still always have the right to engage with and vote for CWA. But we are confident that we will make the progress we've previously pledged to make and create a workplace with you that we can all be proud of. As always, we welcome outreach with concerns or ideas to help make improvements, and there are multiple avenues internally for dialogue, both direct and anonymous.
When did this come out? This missive?
I don't know when it came out. The publishing was day before yesterday. Okay. So it leaked day before yesterday.
So it's recent though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. This is post Raven Studios walkout. This is this week.
I just love that
I if I could real quick, I think they're doing this because America actually, the gaming industry just had its first union form under Vodeo. Now, they are not a big studio by any means. They have produced a few games. I think they have 15, it's around 20 employees, between 10 and 20 employees. So it's not a big studio by any means. But they do have some of the most progressive worker rights with this union that they formed of any union. And I imagine that this happened 3 days ago. So I imagine they're just looking to seal any holes and
panicked fire.
And honestly, in this day and age in America, there's a weird thing. Workers are starting to get some power, starting to realize it. So companies want to clamp down on that. It takes off.
Power back.
Power back. Exactly. Yes.
They also use a lot of the same tactics that they used prior, where they talk about mob ties and things like that, which has, granted, been a problem in some unions, but not
unions.
Yeah, some unions,
sure.
but not the vast majority.
I'd say the overall effect of unions on our country has only been positive.
Yes.
Like, an overwhelming majority of union action has been
You
positive.
like weekends?
Yeah.
You like 8-hour work days? You want those to get better?
Like
Unions.
child labor laws.
Yeah.
Unions.
I just
We
think
had
it's
to make a
amusing
law.
that this missive came out so quickly at work, where they're referencing, like, please give us time to actualize this stuff that we're promising for the future, when they just got caught lying about stuff they promised in the future. Last week we talked about the Ravenswood walk, or
Raven Studios.
Raven Studios walkout. That 6 months ago they were promised all this like reforming and raises and stuff that was coming later in the year, and then what came later in the year was layoffs.
Yep.
So why would they believe anything that you have to say at this point?
I just really hope that none of these tactics have worked, and the CWA can remind potential unionizers that this is nothing to be scared of. Unionizing, especially when you're working under a good union, which hopefully they vet. But there's a large crowd of them. A lot of these people are, especially, they're game devs. They're smart.
These tactics do work. They're tried and true, and they do work.
I know it's unfortunate. That's why we've seen kind of the death of the union over the last 30, 40 years. But hopefully these scare tactics don't work to the point where you don't see mass unionization amongst game devs. It can really only help to have somebody on your side.
Yeah.
CWA ain't nothing to fuck with.
No.
Let's be straight up, most of the time, the company you work for is not on your side.
Nope.
You're a number to them at best.
We're like a family here.
Call your HR representative so we can make sure that you don't sue us.
Yeah.
My dad was a union member, pretty sure through his entire career for the Corps of Engineers. It's pretty much, I think, a requirement that if you're working there that you join the whatever engineers union that they have.
Yeah.
And there's definitely moments that I remember he was like less than thrilled with decisions that were being made, because this is a nationwide union that handles this stuff. But at the end of the day, like as an adult now, I realize that like they probably did so much more than you would have even hoped to imagine if this was not a unionized scenario for these workers.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like, my health insurance changed. I'm like, you have health insurance.
Yes, exactly.
The healthy wear a crown, only the sick can see.
So
What's that from?
It's an old Arabic quote.
it's just more Activision Blizzard doing Activision Blizzard things. At this point, they're better at causing their own problems and trying to terminate solutions than they are making fucking video games.
I always picture these moments with the lawyers in the room and them all figuring out what to do. And the language they use and tactics they take, I have this feeling of like, whatever they say or do is completely irrelevant. It's more like this particular set of words and actions we did in the past worked this time or gave us this result. So regardless of what we're actually saying or doing, because, we're just going to lie or, take back things, it doesn't matter. We just know that like this has the best chance of succeeding to get us out of this fire and back into the frying pan.
Yeah.
Yikes, yeah. So, I mean, you guys live streamed the award show last week. We
did.
On
It was
next.
fun.
yeah.
It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I was not here for it. I had to work. But in the meantime, I did try to go through and watch what I believe to be, based on my little to no effort, most of the game trailers that were played during or before the Game Awards. So, which I counted
completion.
39 of them.
There's a lot.
There was a lot.
So one of the biggest complaints about the Game Awards is that the focus is like totally shifted from the award show to now game trailers, reveals, and releases. Which
add money.
I don't have a problem with personally.
I mean, what is the Game Awards even like? I don't give a shit about who wins what award.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're retarded, as we saw. Excuse me. There should be one award. It's you win it if you launch a finished video game. That's what we. That's the era we live in now. Was your game done by these metrics? You get an award. Good job. Otherwise, whatever.
It'd be a really short show, bro.
It's true, especially for 2021.
So I have a full list with some very quick, essentially first reactions I had from watching it, or watching all these trailers. The first one I have on the list is Elden Ring, which we've watched a couple trailers for.
Oh, man.
There was more cinematics that they showed.
Pretty.
With somebody like J.R.R. Martin that's helping in the production of this game, I'm really hoping that there's like a more accessible and fleshed out storyline. And the
Accessible is a good word.
Yeah, because like it exists in there than the other Dark Souls
It's
and
like
stuff
a
game.
deep, but it's hidden behind 37 doors.
Yeah, exactly. And this one, from the way that she's speaking to in the cinematic, it's like there's already more narrative there than like half of a Dark Souls game. So I'm hoping there's a lot of story there. I don't think I'll be playing Elden Ring. I don't know about you guys.
I will be playing. I've played them all so far.
I very well. I might.
I know that Andy and myself haven't delved really into any of the Dark Souls games. I've watched all of them played to completion. That was enjoyable.
I've watched a few played, but I get frustrated enough as it is playing regular video games. I don't need a game designed to frustrate me.
Yeah.
The point is you get this halcyon catharsis when you finally get over a boss that's been kicking your shit in that you will not get in almost any other video game. Or really in any other moment in your life.
Realistically.
That's why people play Dark Souls. It's that sheer dopamine hit.
Okay.
Of, you bent me over barrel 47 times, but I finally beat you. And I'm going to like violently thrust my hips in the air and make weird ape noises for 5 minutes because I'm so excited.
I would just like to remind people that hardcore mode exists in Path of Exile. Essentially, it's an MMO where as you level up and progress through the game, if you die, you start over.
Delete your character.
It's ridiculous.
Some people.
Quick one is they showed a Wonder Woman game teaser, and they showed absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
I did hear after the fact that they plan on doing like an evolved / adjacent system, because it's the same people who did Shadow of Mordor. Their Nemesis system with the bosses, how they evolve and change.
Which they trademarked. Of course they're going to use it.
Of course they're going to use it. They're doing something similar for Wonder Woman, so we'll see how that pans
So you're telling me that I have to choose between the Gollum game and the Wonder Woman game because they're going to both be the same experience with a different skin?
I really hope there's just orcs and fucking goblins in the Wonder Woman series.
The Lord of the Rings game, I don't think, is made by the same people that made the Shadow and War of Mordor games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Gollum game?
Yeah, that's on the list. They showed one of those. Definitely check that because even watching the trailer because it's in this list.
Daedalic Entertainment.
It didn't look like or feel like that same studio. Interesting thing going with the comic book stuff. They showed a Suicide Squad trailer.
It looked really good. I was just
that was by Rocksteady still, right?
I did not write down who was behind that.
I was just confused about the whole like meta narrative of it. Like, are you going to actually kill the Justice League? Is that a thing? Because like either you don't kill them and you lose, or you do.
In this trailer, they've shown that Brainiac's pretty much like taken over most of the stuff. So the Justice League you're fighting is probably Brainiac
They've got a
Justice
way around
League.
it.
Because that's in that, and the one I watched, they're talking about how they got to kill the Flash because he's joined Brainiac's team.
Okay.
But the one thing, like, I don't really know. It's always questionable on how those comic book games are going to come out. Are they going to be dog shit, which is what usually happens, or are they going to be just clunky and not feel kind of good?
It's a crapshoot. You never know.
But from watching that trailer, what I want to see is like they have various scenes of Deadshot fighting in his Deadshot manner and stuff. And I'm like, they need to make a game that's just that style of combat. Like I play a ton of first-person shooters, and I'm getting sick and tired of like the same rote stuff that we keep seeing over and over again. I get zero excitement from watching any new first-person shooter game that comes out. Like that's why, what's the one that won all the awards?
Deathloop.
Yeah. Like it wasn't even on my radar because I'm just like, I saw a trailer. I was like, this looks like generic first-person shooter. I'm not super keen on it, but they showed Deadshot combat that I'm like, how does somebody see that and not think like, man, that could be literally the future of like a competitive first-person shooter. Like there's jetpack action and
it did look cool.
I highly recommend taking a look at it and judge for yourself. But I don't know. Is that what you're looking up now?
Yeah. Trying to find it. I think it's a cinematic trailer. It's also putting feedback in my headphones, so I'm going to stop.
Okay. Yeah. Star Wars Eclipse we watched
the cinematic trailer.
Yeah, because we'd watched that I think before the Game Awards, or maybe I don't know. I feel like we watched the Star Wars Eclipse trailer.
I don't remember having seen it. I think that might have been the first look.
I remember mentioning that there was an Eclipse game coming out a week or two before that.
I might have just watched it on my own.
We knew nothing other than it's made by fucking, was it Unknown Worlds? Is that who did Detroit Become Human?
Yeah. Maybe.
Let's open up the Game Awards with this big, strong statement about harassment in the video game industry, and then immediately show a trailer by the fucking company that's having all kinds of harassment issues. But
Quantic Dream.
Quantic Dream.
Yes.
That's the one.
Are there like a subsidiary Activision or something? Or they have their own problems?
They have their own problems with harassment and whatnot. But I don't know. I watched a little bit of their Detroit Become Human games. This really fleshed out, descriptive, choose your own adventure walking simulator story.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that transferring to Star Wars pretty well. Maybe.
It seems like I've seen it's more interactive than like a walking story. Because then I think of like a Telltale game where it's literally just like cinematics where you make choices.
I might not have seen enough of Detroit Become Human, but from what I saw, I mean, you can move around and stuff, but the majority of it was like important dialogue decisions.
It looked like they had like third person like fights and stuff in there.
Which you do in things like Detroit. You do. Yeah, there's actual gameplay and meat aside from, of course, there's plenty of cutscenes. Also, Detroit Become Human is one of the first games that I've looked at and said player choice really does matter in this game. I was really impressed by just the sheer amount of. I mean, it all culminates into a new cutscene, right? But just the sheer amount of different options and alternatives they had in that game was just fucking crazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm always going to want like more player agency and stuff in a game that's story driven because I think it's just really fun and adds replay value. But a lot of times it's been executed poorly to where, you know, we've talked about player agents before where you don't really feel like you're having any lasting impacts. Yeah. Or the one what you described with Detroit Beyond Human initially reminded me of the launch title for the Xbox Series X called Quantum Break, I think it was called.
Quantum Break, yeah.
And that I tried that out at some point because I'm like, and it kind of had that vibe of where it was going to be telling this cool story. The downside about whatever you were doing in the game, which I don't even necessarily know if it was like multi-choice, but it had really shitty generic first-person shooter combat like in between storyline stuff that you were progressing. And that's definitely going to be a killer for me is like if you don't have engaging gameplay in addition to like your storyline questing stuff, then there's going to be we're going to have a problem.
I mean,
for sure.
You need them both. It needs to be,
or you just make something like a Telltale game where like you don't have to worry about the second aspect of what the gameplay is like because really you're just telling them choose your own adventure.
Yeah, in something like Detroit Become Human, there's definitely strong narrative and it's very driven by those choices in the form of cutscenes, but there's actual gameplay to be had there. Like,
that's good to hear.
Running from stuff. There's QTE events, of course, in any game like this. There's QTE events, but it comes down to more than that. Like your actions in the game actually matter, not just choices made.
And then I had to look up to figure out what Star Wars Eclipse was because the trailer does not tell you anything about the game.
Right.
It's all cinematics.
Yeah.
It is a multiple character branching narrative. So it's essentially they're going to tell you it's a choose your own adventure story, but there is action adventure elements. So there's probably sounds like they'll have similar things to be Detroit Beyond Human. That trailer and stuff is so gorgeous, and I fucking love Star Wars so much that like I'm okay if there's minimal non-storyline choose your own adventure stuff in that game at all.
Well, and I think it's taking place in the High Republic era too.
Oh,
right?
100%.
So I mean,
young Yoda's in there, and
it's going to be great because other than a young Yoda, I mean, you're not going to have anybody really from the Star Wars saga, from the Skywalker saga.
He's literally like 700 years old when he dies, so that was like 20 years before that when all that shit was
Prime
going
of
on,
his life.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah, it looked promising.
Yeah.
But I mean, being a Star Wars,
It looks good.
Yes. Well, I mean, I didn't see any gameplay, so
Right.
Sonic Frontiers. Now, the only reason this stood out to me at all, a new Sonic game, is I feel like they've been talking about an open world Sonic game for like 2 decades. And am I wrong in thinking that like this is a project that was like started and stopped multiple times to get this like next new Sonic game to come out? Or have they tried and failed?
Not that I know
Saga of Sonic games is, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like 2 steps forward, 9 steps back.
Okay.
And like every once in a while they put out a really fucking great Sonic game that's like similar to the original style Sonics. And then they try to do something weird, like make a black Sonic and give him a pistol. And it's
still
fucking
talking about Detroit.
I'm not making shit up. I look up Shadow the Hedgehog is a fucking thing.
He has a gun though?
He's
He
got
has
a
a gun.
fucking gun. And then like in one of the Sonic games, he's got a human girlfriend. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, gotta open the door.
Yeah.
It's honestly
just
it's the
no.
furries that keep
They
Sonic alive.
go back and forth between like a handful of really bad Sonic games for a while, and then they'll come out with like one good one. And then
Well, this trailer showed nothing. It was all cinematic. And I guess it's kind of coinciding with the release for the second Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming out.
yeah,
Would you guys see a trailer for that?
Yeah,
we did watch the trailer for it.
yeah, it was on. They showed it at the Game Awards.
Oh, okay.
it was pretty
Yeah.
good.
I mean, so
Sure.
watching the first one, the first movie of that they just came out with, it was like acceptable.
It was fine.
Better than it could have been, or yeah, by far, especially had they not gone back
Yeah.
and changed the way that Sonic looked.
Yes.
And that was our purpose initially going to watch it, is just say like, hey, congratulations on listening to your community and making appropriate changes. And at the end of the day, it was like a B- kids movie. Right?
Yeah, it was. It's one of those things where it's like you go in as an adult and you're like, I wasn't bored.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But with kids, if you took your kids there, especially if you grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog, that is something that you can definitely enjoy together.
And I'm actually kind of excited about seeing like full Eggman Jim Carrey for the next one. So it seems like it might be even more goofy and ridiculous.
It'd be good just to see
Idris
Jim
Elba
Carrey
as
again.
Knuckles too. I mean, come on. Yeah.
The addition of bringing in Knuckles was like, I don't give a shit about Sonic, so I'm not. I'll just keep my mouth shut. I don't understand any of that shit.
I loved Sonic as a kid. I used to get all the Sonic comics. There was like a little convenience store next to my dad's work where the comics were like 35 cents. It was a no-brainer for my mom to give me like some pocket change so I could go there.
Yeah, here, get yourself a Sonic comic.
Yeah.
Andy was born in 1938.
It was in Jacksonville, so yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, Jacksonville was permanently stuck in
He does
1938.
have a gun.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
To point
No,
out.
that's not a joke.
There's Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow carries a gun.
Colt
Now show me a picture of his human girlfriend.
Just give me a minute. I got to try to dodge all the weird Sonic porn.
Yeah, that's true.
So while you're looking up that, we can discuss
was
this
the
list
next
is
one.
long. They showed more footage from Hellblade, Senua's
Well, it looks
Sacrifice.
like Sonic has a human girlfriend.
That's Sonic's
Sonic
girlfriend,
has
yeah.
a human girlfriend.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
I
thought you were talking about Shadow.
She's like the princess of the earth or some shit. It's a whole thing.
I would assume that her girlfriend would have been the chick version of Sonic. That's
No, that's the weird hooker one, the white one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember her name.
That's Tails' sugar mama or something.
There's a hooker Sonic?
We're going to go down a rabbit hole
Yeah,
I
we
don't want to dive into.
There's a rabbit Sonic?
all right,
What's the
Josh.
next trailer?
Josh, we will do a Sonic cast. We will do that separate from the from the show. Okay,
He did have a human girlfriend, though. That's
I'll set one
hella
up for
weird.
you.
That's
Yeah.
hella weird.
I'll set one up for you.
All right. So Hellblade 2, Senua's Sacrifice. They showed more. And that actually, what they're showing actually looks like gameplay to me, because the way that
It said it was
Hellblade.
gameplay.
Okay. I don't remember
There's a
seeing that,
little
but
down on the bottom.
I've played the first Hellblade.
At least I'm
And
pretty
the
sure.
game feels more like you're controlling a character in a movie
Yeah.
most of the time. And then there's combat sequences and stuff like that. So that whole scene, they're trying to take down a giant. And you could tell that it's moving in and out of cinematic sequences and parts where you have some control over your character.
Which if that's how they do it without any kind of like HUD showing up on the screen or anything like that, that seamless transition they had between what seemed seamless at least between gameplay and cinematics.
That looked pretty cool.
I'm trying to remember, but I don't think I ever had a HUD in Hellblade.
Yeah.
I own
Even
it,
in
but I've been
combat,
scared to install it and try to play it because I don't think my computer's going to run it. So I'm just sitting in limbo.
I think you probably could. It's not. I don't think it's crazy. That game's almost a decade old now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, well then
It'll probably
I'll
be
give it
fine.
a shot.
I'm still intrigued. I obviously have a penchant for the Norse stuff, but I like the vibe that Senua's stuff was putting out in the first Hellblade. So I'm going to keep an eye on Hellblade.
It looked hella intriguing, honestly.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
That was one of my favorite trailers from the VGAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anytime you have some of them Viking bands playing all your soundtrack music, it's pretty good stuff.
Yep.
We had to, of course, when we were playing Blood Rage the other night, turn my Pandora list onto my Viking metal station so we can get our Blood Rage properly fueled.
Hell yeah.
New Saints Row, self-made. I don't know about you guys, but every time I see Saints Row, I feel like they're slowly trying to figure out how they can become the better GTA.
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare specific Saints Rows to GTAs of the time, some of them were better than the GTAs.
Honestly, just give Rockstar enough time, and they'll do it for them. I mean, they'll do it for.
I think it was Saints Row 3: Gat Out of Hell. Awesome title, by the way.
Blast.
Yeah, was fucking crazy.
It was so much fun. It's just like GTA that doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't get the good narrative that Rockstar provides, but everything else about the game is more fun.
Yeah.
So,
and it seems like they can obviously put them out faster than Rockstar typically can. So that's what I mean is like they're trying to capture the GTA fan base market with their over the top goofiness. And honestly, every time I see either gameplay footage or even trailers of those games, I'm like, it looks like they're just having a fucking blast in that game. Yeah. Now, the only time I've ever tried to play Saints Row was on the Xbox at some point. And I think it was like
a free pass month or something.
I think it was after like some new DLC had come out, so they're letting you play like the base game.
Yeah.
But I felt when I played, and I wish I could remember which version it was for more, to figure out where this problem lied. But I jumped in the game. I didn't feel like I had anything telling me what to do. Like I had to get even started. Like, come on, walk with us. We'll show you how to get this before we throw you into the big open world to where you can just go ham on. So I just felt like there's mini games everywhere around me is kind of what it felt like. And I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
It's hard to know what's going on in those games at all times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have a story because I've played a little bit of it, and then I've watched Adam play quite a bit of either the third or the fourth one. And, it was a lot like GTA that you'd go to a place and it would start like a cutscene for a mission. But I don't remember the beginnings of them, so.
I don't know are you guys at all looking forward to a Saints Row quad sequel? A new Saints Row.
Probably won't play it.
Yeah, I probably won't play it either, but
I'm happy they're putting them out.
It does look weird though, because this one looks like they're almost taking it more seriously, like they're dialing back on the crazy, as opposed to what they did with like the second and the third games.
That's kind of what I was getting at with the vibe about it being an attempt to take the GTA fan base, because it seemed like there was a little bit more structure to the game.
Yeah, I think it was Saints Row 3 that you jump out. You're the president of the United States that's being taken over. You're in what's the plane? Air Force One. Yeah. You're in Air Force One, and terrorists attack. You end up killing them all, jumping out of the plane. It's the beginning to that game is fucking crazy, go nuts. And of course you're like you're super fucking jacked, and you've got like guns that are the size of you. So interesting opening to a game. This seems like it's dialing it back a little bit.
I mean, if I had to make a complaint about a game that I've barely touched, I would say, give me a little more structure for stuff to do.
Of course, there's a lot to do in those games. Just it is unstructured. Yeah. At least it's not as polished as something like Grand Theft Auto.
Next up on the list was the next expansion for Destiny, which is Witch Queen. I mean, it's realistically more Destiny.
The moon is still haunted.
Yeah, haunted moons. I will say I liked a cool story concept from it, which was the enemies that they're fighting started adopting their respawn technology. And, like, that's kind of a cool storyline premise because, like, in Destiny, your little floaty robot, your little dink bots, would just are resurrecting you each time you die.
Making it a light.
And so now you have an enemy that has somehow like co-opted that technology, and they're resurrecting their champions, and you got to figure out, and like there's literally like, how are they harnessing light? They're supposed to be of darkness. I'm like, cool. Which is why I would love to see a Destiny game that was made with like a full storyline in mind and done correctly instead of the fucking monstrosity Frankenstein shit that it is today.
Baba Yaga. That's how they're doing it. Baba Yaga's
Russian folk tales.
Baba Yaga is
They're doing
bringing the
it.
darkness into the light.
After that, we had a preview for Cuphead getting DLC.
Yep.
Which looked fun.
Dude, the showcase that they had was fucking cool.
What do you mean by showcase?
The like diorama thing that they did when they were showing off the game.
Oh, it's in the trailer. So you mean the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was specific to the Game Awards release or whether it was in the actual trailer.
It is the trailer where
Okay.
they did the 3D modeling and stuff for this stuff.
Yeah, that was neat.
That's literally the note that I put down here. Fantastic trailer.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah. That game looks to me like everyone that's involved in the process of making that game enjoys what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it's weirdly oozes out of the animation and stuff they're doing. I mean, the fact they took the time to make that interesting 3D diorama stuff for like, it's really not, like, I don't even think it's part of the game. They're just like, look at these cool things we're doing.
Yeah, it was super cool. It looks like it's a team that loves what they're doing.
Yeah. It also really makes me want to sit down and actually make an effort to play Cuphead. So I'm probably going to try to do that soon.
Good luck.
Yeah, I hear it's difficult.
Yes.
I hear it's difficult. So is it easier with 2 players or harder?
I don't know.
I've never played it 2 players.
Okay.
And I didn't get very far into it. I got sucked into some other game shortly thereafter.
Well, I'm glad you didn't say it was too hard for you, because then I was like, I'm not going to be able to do it. This guy plays Dark Souls.
It's a Souls-like.
It's a roguelike, right? No, you can't even call it that 'cause you don't start over.
2 players doubles that boss health. Okay. So then it is just harder because it. Yeah.
Okay. And it's more shit moving around the screen, which probably confused my old man eyes. Next up on the list, they showed a teaser for Alan Wake 2.
Yep.
They showed nothing from the game.
Yep.
So they're making it.
That they're making it, and they apparently motion capped some actor who I forgot off the top of my head. It's like the guy from Limitless, right?
I love the concept of the first one. I never got to play it, but it's like a video game made for people who like writing and also horror video games.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm excited to see what the second one looks like, even though I'll probably never get to play it.
I'm sure Alan Wake is good. I mean, it's pretty critically acclaimed. It's just it doesn't capture me, right? It's an author. It's a game about an author that's writing books, and you kind of play it or
I've
something.
never played it, and I always assumed it was just Silent Hill.
No, yeah, it's not really a horror. It's more of a suspense theme than it is horror, for sure.
Second one's going to be horror, according to
That's what they said.
Well, I believe he described it as a psychological thriller game, right? Like a psychological horror game.
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, move on from that. Plague Tale Requiem, which is a sequel to
Tale Innocence.
Innocence, yes. My first reaction from watching that trailer was it was beautiful. That was a gorgeous looking game.
Yeah.
Seemed like it'd be really fun. Apparently, the first one has great reviews. People really enjoyed Plague Tale Innocence and stuff. So that's a good one to hear that they're making more of. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a trailer for a clearly Japanese-made horror game called Slitterhead.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was the guy who was it? Slitterhead. It was the next big game based the Silent Hill creator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looked fucking
Keiichiro
stupid. It looked bad.
It looked extremely Japanese. Is what it looked like.
I mean, even the monsters didn't even look that good. It was weird seeing, like, it started off strong. They're like, okay, this chick turns into this crazy skeleton horse. But then, like, it looked like all the monsters in that game were that same monster.
It it was a little bit weird. I wasn't sure what to take from that trailer.
And it looked like butt.
It looked a little buttish.
The only thing I've learned
Fantastic.
that holds true in all situations regarding Japanese video games is they can change in any way, shape, or time, or form, or space, or subspace at any minute.
Yeah.
And you just have to accept it. Like, if you want to truly enjoy a Japanese game on its own merits, if you're playing and suddenly the moon turns into your grandmother and she wants to kill God, that's happening now, and you just have to go with the flow. So if all the monsters are the same, sure, maybe at the start, and then they turn into clowns, or
Clissies?
I don't know, God, or clown gods.
We almost made it to break without saying Clissy.
Almost. Are we? Can we do a couple more before break?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah. So real quick, on the tail of of what you just said about the Japanese and games. Yeah. Do you guys remember playing Lost Planet on the Xbox 360?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Loved it.
Dude, that was such an incredible, and it almost felt Western in the way it played in the first 75-80% of the game. And then after that, you're
Full mecha.
full mech, outer space.
No, I have a laser chainsaw.
Dude, that game went crazy going nuts. Like, it almost seemed like an almost Western military shooter. And then it turns into Gundam.
It's like the developers couldn't help themselves. They were holding it in the first 3
For
quarters
real,
of the
it
game.
did. They're like,
And
well,
they're
we have to bring in a Western audience.
When do I get to put the shonen anime in?
Yeah, exactly. It felt like the floodgates just opened.
Yeah.
Because it just you go from being this single guy, taking on all of these kind of fantastic creatures in a military style third person shooter, and then you meet up with some people, and suddenly it's fucking laser swords and
Gundam.
Flying mechs.
Well, I mean, they held it in as long as they could.
They tried. Yes, they tried.
If you ever brought up video games with snow, trudging through the snow feeling, that's probably one of the first ones that I can remember that it viscerally felt like you're trudging through the snow
big time
in the first part of that game.
Oh yeah, no, it's an extremely underrated game. Lost Planet was so goddamn good.
My
The
brother
second one wasn't as good.
No,
never played it. Brother just recently finished the last expansion in Final Fantasy XIV that just came out, which wraps up a decade-long storyline. And he showed me a cinematic from it where all of the gods you've fought, you've convinced to help fuel the engines of your ship to break through reality, to travel to a plane to fight a dude that really wants to fight you one-on-one.
yeah,
And it's just the seed of these gods being like, well, fuck, they beat us, but I don't want to do this, but we have to, so let's be happy about it. And then they zoom into the ship to power its engines. This is so fucking Japanese.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, so move off from that one. We get a pretty cool trailer for Warhammer Space Marine 2.
Yeah.
Which is a third-person shooter. It gave me Gears vibes.
Yep.
Did you play the first one?
I have
on
not.
the Xbox?
I know, but I went and watched to see what kind of gameplay it was from watching the
It was
first Space
very
Marine.
God of War, Gears of War kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
It has now become apparent in my life that Warhammer needs to be in it more in some capacity. Mostly through TikToks of watching this one guy explain lore from that universe has got me all kinds. And I've read 3 of the books in the series, but anytime I see cinematic footage that people have done for any Warhammer world at all, I fucking love it.
It's so cool.
It's fantastic.
It's highly perfected grimdank.
Yeah, it's so having watched the
That's my
trailer for
nickname in
Space
high
Marine
school.
2, it makes me want to try that game out and play it.
Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be good. The first one was really good. I enjoyed it. You feel it's like playing a Doom for the first time again.
Yeah.
Space Marine
it's
with
got
a
the fan
chainsaw
base
sword.
fucking and up and
Yeah, I think it's because the main character was supposed to be dead,
oh.
but now he's not. Spoilers, maybe.
I mean, how could they like it? You can't even paint him, so.
You'd be surprised how many people actually don't paint their black.
Yeah.
Either you paint him or you just leave him
I've got
gray and
one
sad.
over this looming pale on Warhammer that keeps me from really enjoying it, and that's the just fascist jackbooting of everything about it. It's like every race, it's kind of neat because every race in there is extremely autocratic and fascist, so they're all kind of bad, right? There's no good guys. They all hate each other, and they're all violent and terrible. And it's just got these weird kind of semi-Nazi overtones that I can't quite get over. but it's still really amazing.
That's why the orcs are the good guys in Warhammer.
I mean, if they think they're good.
They just want to fight, man.
Yep.
There's no political motivations or morals behind it.
If the orcs thought they were good, they would actually become good. I mean, that's how it works, being a spore that
I imagine they don't think they're the bad guys, right? So
No.
the orcs by default become the good guys.
I like your logic.
Any other trailers?
Oh, dude. We're not.
There's a lot.
We're like a third of the way through. There's a game called Tunic, and I wrote down looks great. I don't quite remember it. We'll bring up
I believe that's an old shirt.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just Googled Tunic.
It does have sleeves.
Is that the Fox one moving
The Fox one.
Yes,
I do not remember
yes.
this trailer.
So that game looks great. It reminded me kind of a Bastion
seeing
meets
that
Zelda.
one.
Yes, yeah. They showed that at the Game Awards last year, and I was pretty excited about it.
Interesting.
Lots of fun. Puzzle adventure.
March of next year. Okay.
Definitely going to be keeping an eye on that one as well. I've realized now, having as much fun playing games such as like Limbo to Bastion to Ori and the Blind Forest and stuff like that, that I need to pay more attention when I see a game like that. Otherwise, sometimes it'll just get buried in life and other games that come out and stuff. But they usually end up being extremely satisfying.
Yeah.
They showed a lot more from Borderlands, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I'm so hyped.
God.
Looks pretty fucking crazy.
Like, I fucking love Borderlands. I've been playing them. I would barely consider playing the first one, but I've definitely played the subsequent games and enjoy the shit out of them. The only person I know that might like Borderlands more is Brian.
Yeah.
Adam played them a lot.
Loot explosions, gear upgrades, comparing stat numbers on item pieces, killing crazy monsters and comedy in these games. It's got a ton of stuff that I fucking love. And now we're going full D&D.
I love it.
Like the trailer they're showing and stuff was just the giant Cheeto on the game board.
Yep.
Just like,
It's a meteor.
love it. It's going to be a blast. I'm definitely going to want fucking Sabo. We got to pick up some Borderlands at some point. We'll roll into that shit together for sure. Nothing really more needs to be said other than the fact that, like, if you like Borderlands, more Borderlands. If you've never played Borderlands, this might be the one to play.
If you like D&D, play it.
Yeah, if you're even remotely considering D&D, because this is the best caricature I think you can get of how fun D&D can be.
It very well could be the best D&D game.
Yes, it very well could be. I mean, it's already in the running.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, you're never going to knock probably Baldur's Gate off that list, but
It's past the statute of limitations. So
that is fair.
Don't count anymore.
We don't use that D&D system anymore, really. So, I have a game called Thirsty Suitors.
Oh,
Thirsty Suitors was. Hold on, I got to think about
It's a game about fuckboys.
No, it was like an Indian family.
okay.
Yeah, this is the one. So it kind of gave me Parappa the Rapper vibes, but it wasn't doing the rhythm gaming.
Yeah, didn't see this one.
It was like somewhat cell shaded. It was very interesting because it's like clearly following like a culturally Indian centric premise, which I don't know if it's ever been done before. But you like battle your exes and cook dinner with your mom, and I mean it looked cute.
It looks interesting.
neat.
Yeah. I give him credit for trying to be innovative in what
Turn-based skateboarding. I'm in. That's a sentence I've never heard before. Yes, please.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a trailer.
They must have shown these before.
It was.
I don't remember seeing this.
You said a few that we haven't.
Well,
we didn't
so
see.
we did cover the Game Awards, but so the communications that I got from them was that the Game Awards started at 5:30 that night. They did not. If we hadn't started the stream a little bit early, we would have missed the first half hour of the Game Awards.
Yeah,
So-
we already missed quite a bit.
Yeah, and what they
time
It was
zone
annoying.
no, because they said all time zones
They
are
had
in
a
BST.
timer in the top right of the screen
Yeah.
saying countdown to the start
okay,
of
that's
the show.
the whole list of trailers I watched had that countdown the entire
Yeah, we
time.
came in when there was like 10, 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like an hour and a half
Yeah.
of trailers.
I found that. I know. I found this out later. So the communication from the Game Awards staff was a little bit funky.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
It's a polite way of putting it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if this one,
Now, admittedly, the dude came out, Keeley, and started the show when it was supposed to start.
The Game Awards proper, but that was just that was
stuff before.
yeah. They were starting the awards show where like a lot of the trailers and releases happened prior.
I mean, to be fair, that kind of makes sense. It's like it would be weird to show an hour and a half of game trailers interspaced in your award show.
Well, they did that though.
That's what they did.
That's what they do.
Some of these trailers.
They like
we
replay.
saw.
Oh, yeah.
60-70% of the show was just trailers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well.
Yeah.
So it's weird that they did it both ways.
Anyways, we do have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game coming out. They did not show anything. It was a teaser and
Thank God.
Whatever. Don't
Well,
give a shit.
now,
Yeah.
do you get to? Are you the murderer or the murderee?
I'm pretty sure you play Leatherface.
Okay.
The vibe I got is that you might play Leatherface, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
It also
There's
seems
no turn-based skateboarding. I'm not fucking in, dude.
it also seems like they could have just put
Turn-based
Leatherface
chainsaw.
in to
Fortnite
Dead
or
by
something.
Daylight. Yeah,
Or
Fortnite. That's the one.
Just let
No,
him
it
floss.
seems like they could have just put him in Dead by Daylight.
Game devs, if you're listening, you want to make a horror game and you want it to be good, make a Tucker and Dale versus Evil style game where you're
that'd be
trying
fantastic.
to keep stupid teenagers from killing themselves.
Yep.
That would be a fun game.
That'd be fun.
Yes. Follow that was the Lord of the Rings Gollum game. I saw that trailer and I was
That
like,
trailer was like,
who's this for?
Yeah.
Who wants to play as Gollum?
the voice actor for Gollum?
Yeah, I was like, I guess he needed more money.
Now, I was really hoping if it was made by the people who made that stealth assassin game where you play as the goblin, Styx or Strix, Slikes.
Sneak the Goblin.
That one, like, it showed a lot of promise. I don't remember what it was called, but like
Snert.
Snert. Yes,
That's not it, but
but yeah, it's all cinematic. So it's like, what are you?
is it Strix? I don't think it's Strix.
I think it's Strix.
Anyways, that game was essentially, wasn't that just Thief, like reskinned as a goblin?
Yeah, but there was more like
can't be
kind
racist
of
to a goblin.
combo fighting, not even Devil May Cry, but like you kind of unlocked a lot of neat combo abilities.
So it'd be kind of like the other Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it was
Overworld
similar
games.
to that. Like I said, it wasn't great, but it had some good bones to it. And
I honestly couldn't care less about playing Gollum. I don't think I'm not a good person to ask about Lord of the Rings games because I'm not a huge fan of the world. So I think it's. Am I wrong in saying, like, do you guys clamoring for a Gollum game? Nick obviously
No.
talked about if it was a good
and
stealth game.
At one point, I think I brought up the Gollum game originally, and the key thing I wrote down for it was, who the fuck is this for?
Okay, yeah, that's my question now. Somebody wants
Somebody,
to play
I'm
it.
sure.
It's
but-
for the Lord of the Rings mega fans, which there are plenty of.
Yeah, there'll always be people that will play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Whatever
wouldn't
Lord
they
of the
rather
Rings.
play
in a game
with
where you
some-
play as Grond,
you know,
Styx told you it wasn't Strix. Knew it.
close enough.
Follow this whatever game with another whatever game, which is King of Fighters 15.
Yeah.
If your game has a 15 behind it, I'm probably not going to be super interested.
Nope.
Having said that, I also don't play Final Fantasy, so I could take that off the table for myself. Whatever. You guys don't have anything to say about King of Fighters, I imagine.
No, it's
do
another
not.
King of Fighters games for people that like King of Fighters.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Expanse. The
Yeah.
video game made by Telltale. Trailer for that. Did you guys see that one?
Oh wait, no. I
No.
thought you were talking about the new season.
No. So this
which
is
I had started.
Telltale Expanse game.
Yep, I'll bring up, I guess, two essential. They're making a Star Trek Resurgence game, and I remember vaguely when they were showing the opening part of the trailer, they mentioned that it was from the people that made some of the Telltale games. So I think that one might not actually be made by Telltale. I hate that name, by the way. It's difficult to say.
Telltale.
The only way I'd be on board for an Expanse Telltale style game is if you were not the main characters from the show.
I don't think you are. You play.
If they're in the
I don't
they're in the game, it's gonna be bad.
I feel like a game like that is just trying to capitalize on the popularity of a TV show. Like, it's not.
I mean, if the developers wanted a way to expound upon the lore in a different medium, this would be the way to do it. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but
Right.
I'm definitely not a good person to reference on the Telltale games either because I haven't particularly enjoyed playing any of them. I'm not a big fan of just playing like a choose your own adventure story.
Yeah.
When I have free time to do my gaming, there's other stuff that I want to do that's more interactive. But if you were somebody that like didn't game all the time, I could see that being a
you
good
just gotta
target
go
audience.
into them thinking that you're watching a movie or a TV show, and don't think about them as games. really. I mean, that's the mindset that I go into when I play these kind of games. It's the only way I can keep from feeling like I'm missing out on something, right? You know?
So that one's, I guess it sounds like if you like those kinds of games and you like the
is
Expanse,
that,
it's gonna be good.
what's her name?
It looks like her.
She says her name in that trailer. I don't remember what it was. The other one I saw about Star Trek Resurgence, who said they might be from the same like people that made those Telltale games.
That's what I was trying to look up.
It looked like it had a little bit more involved into it than your standard Telltale interactive story. Like you move around the ship. But at the end of the day, it's mostly making storyline decisions wrapped in Star Trek. But it's obviously they've done really well with this model because they did all the Walking Deads, they did all the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
There's a Borderlands one, which is the only one I've even attempted to play.
To be completely honest, without trying to go on a tangent, like it baffles me the idea of making a Star Trek game in any way, shape, or form.
Why?
Like, because the lore and narrative that the shows have put out are so non-conducive to a video game. Like they're all about philosophy and like what is morally correct and good. And like,
When was the last time you watched a Star Trek show?
when they were good.
Discovery's pretty good, and there's still a bit of that morality and stuff in there, but there's a little more action to it. So
Next Generation, and for a different reason, Deep Space Nine, fantastic. And those were the last ones I watched. I grew up on Next Generation, and I watched some of the original series, and I appreciate it for what it was, in a way. But like
innovative,
like
It was a product of its time.
We're going off on a tangent, but like when you make a Star Trek game, like to do what? Like to be in a spaceship and fight Klingons? Because that's not what Star Trek is about. Is it to explore new planets and?
I mean, that's what a Star Trek game is about.
Yeah, but that's not what Star Trek's about. It's not about fighting.
Sure.
Right. So like the problem with most video games is they're going to boil down to they likely need to have some kind of combat or some kind of conflict, right? And unless it gets to the point where you might as well just write a story, right?
And that's honestly Resurgence being in that vein of the Telltale games might be the best.
That's probably
outlet.
like the best chance we have of getting something that feels like a proper, dealing with the Prime Directive and trying to figure out like, okay, we've got these weird political or racial or war tensions, and you have to try to solve them without resorting to phasers.
Dude, it's not just the fucking Federation in Star Trek, bro. Like. You can.
I agree with Nick though. I think what he's saying is
I'm more saying that
a video game translation of Star Trek is better suited to like an interactive story where you have to make moral and complex decisions about what to do next, as opposed to like fighting people.
if you had a game that was all about being like a Klingon and doing all the Klingon culture stuff, that would be cool. But the problem is that the games don't do that. They have you playing as Janeway or Picard, and you can get Worf as a character for your ship, and it's like it's so gamified. That if you want to show me like a game that's about like a Romulan RTS or 4X game, or like I said, a Klingon like culture war game, that'd be fantastic. But they're always based around like you get to play as the characters from the show, and you have a ship, and oh no, the Klingons are here, the Romulan warbird. It's just give me Star Wars. Like that's what Star Wars is for, right? If you just want kind of mindless combat.
So a Star Trek game can work, just not in the present iterations.
I've never seen a Star Trek game that wasn't just like an attempt at making money.
Yeah.
Right. So
they all seem like pretty big.
Yeah.
cash
I mean,
grabs
honestly,
for the most
any
part.
Star Trek game I've ever seen has been like a phone game. So,
Anyways,
So before you move on, we do have to go to break.
that's what I was gonna say. Can we pause and take a break?
Yeah, we're gonna pause the list,
squeeze
go to
that
break,
lemon.
and then we gotta squeeze some lemons, and then we will be right back.
Right on.
bye.
All right. So we left off on the Expanse from Telltale Games and the Star Trek Resurgence game. I saw one for a game called I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Takia.
Takia.
Chia,
Is that Takia?
TCHIA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Definitely seemed like an indie game. Looks like you play.
Yeah, it's Breath of the Wild for babies. That's how I described it during the Video Game Awards.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For babies seems might be a little bit too harsh. It's neat. There's a I hope this is the proper term, but Pacific Islander protagonist, and she's female. If I get that wrong, I apologize.
Good to see more of that.
There's a lot going on. Looks like you can do in the game. I made a note here as an amusement that you can be a lantern.
Yeah, the idea
Yes.
of
Yeah,
being able to
some of the
turn
stuff that
into-
you could turn into. I think that was one of the things we talked about. It's like you better be able to turn into fucking anything in that.
Or just a lantern.
But she
You
turned
can
into
be
a
in lantern.
bird and then started flirting with another bird.
That
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you turn into a bird.
Yeah, you fuck
play
other birds.
an ukulele.
That's the only way to avoid massive cloacal trauma.
No, yeah, that's the way you start massive cloacal trauma.
No, that's when you turn back into a people.
Well, that's
doing
going to
bird
happen
stuff.
midway. Everyone
Yeah.
knows that when
Oh,
you
yeah, you lose
orgasm,
control,
you lose
yeah.
control.
When you run out of mana.
When you birdgasm.
Yeah.
Birdgasm causes
Massive
cloacal
cloacal trauma.
It is inspired by New Caledonia, French territory in South.
Yeah, I saw that in the title. I was like, I don't know what that game is. I don't know. Here's another one. I've been watching the trailer. I had no idea what was going on. It was called Somerville.
Oh, I think I remember that one too. Vaguely.
I feel like it was not
Man, I
even
should have
worth
fucking reviewed the
Yeah.
trailers.
watching.
But I didn't.
I remember
it
we
was
talked
whatever.
about that. I don't remember why. Oh yeah, it was a weird like walking simulator.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like, and wasn't intriguing in their art style choice, and storyline didn't grab me at all. I was like, whatever.
It kind of gave me Limbo vibes a little bit.
There's better Limbo vibes later.
I'm getting Tales from the Loop vibes from the art, which I really like. But with any kind of walking simulator game, there's a good chance your game's going to be really boring.
Yeah.
Rumbleverse looks like kind of a battle royale brawler. Possibly fun. That's what I wrote down. It struck me as a type of game to where seeing it now, if it's
yeah.
engaging to play, could become a big thing that people play. Might be in the vein of like,
It looked Fall Guys-y.
like Fall Guys blew up, and I don't really hear people talk about it anymore. I could see maybe this falling into that category.
Honestly, Fall Guys was a lot of fun, but
To me,
man, was that frustrating.
This honestly looks like a phone game company decided to clone Fortnite.
Yeah.
Right, but so instead of you don't really have guns. It's almost like a luchador style, like Sabo saying in chat, like WWE stuff. And I mean, it seemed like it could be fun.
It's a neat idea. I hope it works out.
Yeah, I could also see it. I mean, Gang Beasts and stuff didn't really take off too big in like the mainstream. Obviously, because it's way more difficult to control your character. But that premise might pick up interest in Rumbleverse because it seems more traditional than the weird hand controlling stuff you do in the Gang Beasts game.
Yeah.
We have successfully made it to the second page of game
Ooh,
trailers.
page 2.
Next one is Planet of Lana. I wrote down has cat monkey, so that's a plus.
Was this where she was in the desert?
Yeah, so cinematic puzzle adventure limbo vibes is also what I wrote down. It's pretty much the trailer shows her like racing across the desert as monsters are attacking her.
Yeah. I remember the trailer.
It seems neat. Once again, I'll keep at least a side eye on it to see if it ends up being
I remember
reviewed
the
positively
cat
and worth
monkey.
time checking out.
Yeah.
Because limbo vibes are good vibes to have. Limbo was a lot of fun. Move past that one. Nightingale.
Nightingale looked
Ooh, Nightingale.
interesting.
Yeah.
Nightingale,
about
I wrote
quite a bit.
hyped. It's one of my notes on here to make sure that I remembered that this one looked really
Oh, yeah,
action.
this
Yeah.
was the Blades in the Dark looking
Yeah,
Victorian
yeah.
diesel punk kind of.
It's a shared world survival crafting game.
Yeah, I think we were all pretty hyped on that one by the end of it. Hyped is the right word. I think that was the one we were talking about at the end.
The trailer did a fantastic job of building hype.
Yeah.
If it delivers in any shape or form, I think, in the way that trailer feels, that could be fantastic.
Could be very good.
Like, I'm not usually super hyped up about survival crafting games. The concept of being in that shared world, one, it's not quite steampunk. It's like
It's Victorian era kind of. Yeah.
yeah, and then they're combining it with this Fey world fantasy stuff. Like,
That's what New World should have been.
realistically,
I need to know I need them to define what they mean by shared world. Does this mean like a 16-person server and you don't get to choose who bees on it? Or is it an MMO? Or is it like Valheim where you can add your friends?
It looked to me, I didn't see anything that confirmed or denied, but it seemed Valheim-esque to where you can do stuff on your own or have like 4 people come together to do stuff and work
I'm signed up
together.
for the newsletter. I haven't gotten an email from them yet. But
It's really intriguing seeing all that, the cinematic stuff they're doing in that trailer, and then it cut over to them like building these little towns and villages and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, interesting. And then seeing them get destroyed by a fucking giant, and I'm like, all right, you're getting me on that hype train. Let's go.
Toot toot.
Yeah. Move on to a game I am absolutely not hyped about at all. Monster Hunter Rise Skybreak. It has 3 titles.
It's too many. It's too many titles.
I've tried playing Monster Hunter, and this is a me problem. This is not a Monster Hunter problem, but trying to play that game was like trying to eat Jell-O filled with Lego. It was the most convoluted controls. I'm not good at like learning fighting combos, and this seemed even worse than that. And like the game is such a neat idea, the idea of just being a badass dragon dinosaur hunter and you fight these things. I watched Adam play a lot of it, but like trying to play the game, it's like the controller's in Farsi. I don't know what to do.
Every time I talk to a Monster Hunter fan, I have a few that I work with that played a lot of the last Switch release. That's what they always talk about. Is like if you can wrap your head around the controls and
they all admit that the controls are fucking weird,
right?
And if you can learn them, it's great. But like,
I will say this does not look like it is Monster Hunter World.
Right.
This feels dated. Watching the trailer for it, it felt like it was in the last 10 years that this trailer was made, so it didn't look super great. And it looked like a Japanese anime video game kind of thing. So it's going to be something I do not give a shit about. This one I'm kind of excited about just to talk about. And I hope did you guys see the trailer for Metal Hellsinger?
No.
Okay, so
it's a bell, man.
It's a first-person shooter game.
We did.
Did we
that
see
is
this?
rhythm-based.
Yeah, the rhythm-based shooter.
We
Yeah.
did.
And
Yes, we did.
The whole soundtrack is metal. It's based on metal.
Yeah.
and they had all the big bands.
Yeah.
In it.
So my notes here probably be shit.
Yeah.
It's
That's-
probably going to be a shitty, poorly designed game.
Yeah.
But the concept is cool.
Yeah. And they have a lot of bands that I listen to.
I
so it's something that I'll probably play.
I'm
check it out.
I'm watching the gameplay trailer. I still didn't even understand how the rhythm-based portion of it is working. I'm intrigued. Color me intrigued.
There have been rhythm-based shooters before, and some of them like lock your fire into the beat or half beat, and others give you bonuses to damage and style points and like speed boost or something as long as you keep with the rhythm. So I don't know which kind of system they're going to go with or a mixture of them.
It definitely looked new, like
Did
a
you
system I
guys
hadn't seen.
Yeah.
Ever see Chroma? It was a first-person shooter, competitive multiplayer, like Halo, for example, put out by Harmonix.
No.
It was a rhythm-based multiplayer, arena-based shooter, but it was rhythm-based,
Wow,
and it fucking flopped. But it was, from what I saw of it, it looked really cool if you're into that sort of thing, right? So like Andy was saying, it's not the first one to come out, but you got to have that shit on lock if you're going to want it to catch
100%.
on.
Like I literally watching the trailer, I could tell that like you have a cool concept, but if you don't
The gameplay
execute
they were
it,
showing was not promising.
and you couldn't tell what was happening really. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and there's certain things that pop out as kind of red flags. Massive damage numbers on the screen look cool when you're showing a trailer. They usually just get
Blocking
irritating
everything.
when you're playing the game.
I noticed that, yeah.
So my money is still the game's going to be shit, but I give them credit for trying to
I hope
do something.
it's not. Yeah. Did you get to play Crypt of the Necrodancer?
No.
Oh, it was really fun. So standard dungeon crawly style game, top down, right?
Okay.
And you're in the dungeon exploring, but it's a rhythm based game. And the music, like anytime on the beat, is when you get to attack or use an item or move, and all the enemies will move in different patterns based off the music. And
That sounds
as
fun.
you play through the dungeon, not only does every level have a different soundtrack, but like sometimes there's like a drop in the BPM changes, and so you'll be fighting a boss. and
That
the
sounds
music's
pretty
so
fun, man.
fucking good. Yeah, I highly
like
recommend. I think I have it. I can link it on Steam or something. But
Okay, I'll check that out for sure.
yeah.
Homeworld 3 got a trailer.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Homeworld 3.
What?
Real-time
After
strategy game.
30 years? How long has it been?
I have never played a Homeworld game, but I did want to go check on Homeworld 2.
I mean, it came out in the 90s, didn't
It's
it?
extremely well reviewed for, an RTS game. Not like in comparison.
Just because it had a really good narrative, surprisingly.
I figured this was the type of game to where any Homeworld grognards were probably like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, but I love a good RTS, and I haven't played one in a long time. So, something maybe to keep an eye out for.
Look into that.
Have a Nice Death. Did you guys see?
Oh yes, the cute little death
Little
guy.
Grim
yeah.
Reaper? Oh, yeah, the
I
kinda
remember commenting on that. That one
Hollow
looked
Knight looking
fun.
clone, yeah.
Fantastic. I wrote down
The
fantastic.
art looked so good.
Yeah.
The animations.
Yeah. Side scroll platformer. Definitely all what's the game you just said?
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight kind of status.
Salt and Souls or whatever the other one was.
They're hitting a lot of the positive buttons. Like you have a cute but badass protagonist. Art style is unique and stuff in this neat world that you're playing in. Definitely going to be wait until I can get my hands on playing some of that. Gtfo is the next one, and this is a game that I'm actually going to be picking up because
I thought that was already out.
it is. Yeah, it did come out.
Okay.
I don't know if it came out this last week or not. It's been out for a while, but they just had their like 1 year
Was it
anniversary.
early access or whatever?
Yeah. And my buddy Sabo has been pressuring me to check it out. I'm not inclined to play games that are typically suspenseful horror games because it's definitely like in that genre. But it's like a 4-player co-op Left 4 Dead stuff, but instead you do like survival runs
like
down in this
Tom
facility.
Clancy tactical. Yeah,
You got
seen
to
some
pick your
gameplay of
loadouts
it.
to be able to get through certain zones and stuff
dude.
and there's no restriction on
Yeah, I think
That's
who
Josh
can
would
take
like
what
that.
items.
That
but
sounds fun.
yeah, and it'll dictate how it reminded me of what you guys talk about when you play Deep Rock, but a little bit more options.
yeah.
And how
Yeah.
you progress
I'll show you
through
the
game.
trailer later, Josh. You're gonna like that.
Well, I'm more interested in the specs.
I don't know whether or not you can run it.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can probably run it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could lower settings if you needed to. You can't run it on super mega ultra. I will be picking it up. It seems like fun, so we'll come back at some future podcast and I'll let you know. How
I may also pick it up.
Yeah. After that, we have Forspoken.
It's 25%. Chat is saying it's 25% off now. That
Chat's talking about They Are Billions, which is a
No. He's talking about GTFO. It's on sale
Oh,
right now.
okay.
Yeah, it's like $30, I think.
that's
Okay.
that's a big one. Fuck, dude, I have to talk myself out of buying fucking Red Dead 2 for my PC. Or
Yeah, don't do
every-
it.
every-
Don't do it. You're on a no.
Well, also, I don't want to give Rockstar any more of my money. I'm angry at them.
Don't for
Fair.
a while until they get their shit together.
You're learning.
Yeah, you already gave him $60.
Yeah.
We're gonna
That's
red
enough for
pill
this
you
year.
eventually.
So yeah, Forspoken. I wrote down neat.
Did you say force poking?
Yeah, Forspoken.
That's how I do my best pokins.
I legitimately.
It's a Jedi dating game.
I have the high ground.
It's Forspoken is the Squeenix game.
Forspoken. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucking Squeenix game.
No, it's not. Well, I don't know. No, Babylon's Fall is the Squeenix game. I don't think this is the Squeenix game.
This
It could
Fors-
also be a Squeenix game.
Forspoken is Squeenix, yeah.
Okay. Fantasy female-led magic.
Squeenix meaning Square Enix for the audience, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, female protagonist in the main
Oh
game.
yeah, this is the Isekai game. Okay.
I saw the trailer. I didn't quite know what was going on and what was happening. So
This is
maybe.
Portal
It looked
Fantasy. I mean, it's traditional Portal Fantasy. A teenager gets sent into a magical realm, doesn't know what's going on, and ends up being the savior.
Sure.
Right? And I remember making a comment like, so many Gen Z and a lot of millennials have so much knowledge about Portal Fantasy. And Isekai is a genre in Japanese manga, the same thing. The like
It's Harry Potterism.
the idea, yeah, of her not knowing what's going on. Like, I want to see, a game where they're like, oh, I totally know what's going on. I've seen this show a million times.
Just like you get Lion Witch in the wardrobe and you show up and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm obviously the chosen one because I'm here and let's make shit happen.
Yeah.
Evil West was a game. I will describe it as Cowboy Doom.
I didn't see that trailer.
Yeah, you play like a kind of a Van Helsing looking cowboy with a bunch of guns and gadgets, and
Okay.
it's Doom-esque as far as you run around just blowing shit up, killing things.
Okay.
Seems like it could be a fun game.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Demon Banditos.
I could tell it's not a game I'd play full price to play. Like a $60 price tag
Sure.
wouldn't be worth that. Dune, Spice Wars.
Yeah.
So I got confused when this came out because I had talked about a Dune game like a week or two before the Game Awards, and the two developers who were making it it was not a good idea. Like, it wasn't a good sign. But then I think we found out that this Dune game that they showed the Game Awards was a different Dune game. This is a full RTS.
Yes.
And
It's a 4X game. It's not an RTS.
Oh, okay. Even better.
4X
I like
strategy
four.
game.
I like 4X games.
And that's. I mean, I wonder if Andrew knows that. If Andrew knows they're making a Dune 4X strategy game,
He will
gonna
never
wet his
play
pants.
anything ever again.
It's from the developer of Northgard, which I think we both played. Northgard was the very rules light RTS where you picked a clan based off like an animal as a Viking.
I vaguely am remembering this.
Yeah. So that was a solid game. It was very bare bones. I enjoyed it, but there wasn't a lot of meat to it. So hopefully
That's always going to
beef
come
it
down
up.
to like if you make a good 4X game, there has to be a tidy system of your economics and stuff that you're working with.
Or you can take the paradox route and make it so untidy that people don't realize the game's a dumpster fire until they're 400 hours into the game.
I mean, honestly, if you had never told me that like they've constantly Stellaris has been broken,
Oh, yeah. They just find new ways to break it. Like
I would never have known that because it's like you
Yeah.
have to get so into the weeds to realize like
the game's
oh,
fantastic until you learn it, and then you're like, this is all just shit.
I've been having a great time with Stellaris.
That's
Oh,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, when I even after Nick was like, you might want to think about waiting and stuff. Eventually, I waited for a while and picked it up. You still enjoy playing Stellaris.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get in the weeds before you realize
Yeah.
there's broken systems in this game.
All the stuff behind the veil it's three goblins with toothpicks trying to hold everything together.
Yep, two goblins in a suit of armor.
Yeah.
Crossfire. Was a trailer.
Wait,
Josh, yeah, I remember him doing
yep.
that.
We just can't help ourselves.
As generic as that. It looked like a generic shooter. The one thing I'll give him credit for is it looked clean.
Okay.
Like the graphics, everything seemed pretty tight. It's the kind of thing to where if I was going to want a new Call of Duty to play, I would prefer it feel more like Crossfire looked than the shit that I see them doing
Sure.
now. Like it's
I'm trying to Google it. I'm just getting pictures of DE Dust.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. Who knows?
so after that is the other Square Enix game called Babylon's Fall.
I remember that one too.
This one, like I started watching it, and once again I was surprised by the low graphics, or the lacking in quality of the graphics for it, especially coming from like a Square Enix.
Yeah, which is funny because exactly it's a Square Enix title.
Yeah. Now, what made me, as I watched it and realized that what they've built here is a 4-player co-op game, it makes me wonder if they intentionally have to back down graphics because you're allowing like 4-player co-op into your game. Like it's just going to be, everything is so much more demanding when you're adding other people into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that.
And this seems like it could be a game that was designed for consoles specifically, in which case you really need to be aware of what you're doing taxing wise, your system. It seemed kind of cool. I know I was going to be down for 4-player co-op games when it comes to video games and stuff where everyone gets to work together.
For sure.
They made Bayonetta 3. I don't know how good that one was. That's the only one I recognize on this list. So
Beloved by Bayonetta fans.
Okay.
So
They would know then.
yeah.
Following that, we had Arc Raiders, which was a third-person sci-fi shooter.
I'm going to steal 2 of every animal.
Yep. No, they just want one. You can have one. They take all your female giraffes and leave your male hippos. Why? Nobody knows. Nothing stood out to me in that.
You don't want to be anywhere near a male hippo. That's science.
When I try to Google Arc Raiders game, I'm getting pictures of the Atari game Raiders of the Lost Ark. Google's at a loss.
Google just knows you better. Like, clearly he meant this vintage game, not
mean-
this new shit.
There were some kind of cool moments in it. So other than the fact that they showed people mostly running through forest, when they did show some other stuff like the in the city, the giant crab mech, oh, that was kind of cool.
A 501 player play cooperative shooter. I think there's an extra play in there. What does 501 players mean?
That's a weird, oddly
This news
specific
article
server
says
size.
he uses strong tools and gadgets to hone the intruder on his feet to exploit him.
Was that written by bots? Somebody watched the trailer and had a bot
Everybody
write
go to GN24videogamenews.com.
Okay, well,
It would not surprise me in the slightest if these sites just have bots writing their articles at this point.
I want to use strong tools.
Nothing really much
Only the
left.
strongest.
2 on the list. Among Us in VR, sure, and then Persona, whatever.
I play Among Us every once in a while with the kids, and I am so bad at it. Like I can never seemingly find an opportunity to kill without being seen, and I don't know how they do it. It's like it's just a whole nother ball game that I'm too old to understand. Yeah,
the VR aspect of Among Us, I'm not quite sure if that's
a neat
translate
idea.
well. Yeah, I mean anything.
Yeah,
Very well could.
yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, why not?
How much time we got left? I want to rant about child labor for 5 minutes.
We got time, but before you do that, on kind of the heels of the Game Awards, something that we talked about briefly on the last podcast, and we were a little bit skeptical about when we streamed the Game Awards, was the Matrix stuff. So the Unreal Engine 5 experience for the Matrix Resurrections. I just want to come out and say that, like, preliminarily, what they showed at the Game Awards didn't seem impressive. It showed some Uncanny Valley, Keanu Reeves, and Carrie Ann Fisher. Didn't look particularly... Carrie Ann Moss, yeah.
Carrie Ann Moss.
Yes. Didn't look particularly good, especially in the facial animations, a little Uncanny Valley.
Well, I mean, if it gets... That's the only thing that it can be if it gets that good, right? I mean...
you can get photorealism, not necessarily... It's really hard to do in people, but...
Yeah. I mean... Isn't that a mark of the technology being that good that it?
Not necessarily. It wasn't Uncanny Valley in the way that it looked nearly photorealistic. There were bad facial animations. I wasn't impressed by it. Right. I looked at that and I was like, wow. If I saw a still of this, maybe, but seeing it animated, it didn't look very good. That being said,
You're talking about the tech demo they put out.
Yeah. I did watch some people play through the PS5 and Xbox Series X release of that experience, and it actually looks really good. So people and reflections and that kind of thing, we haven't totally perfected, but creating a world in that engine seems like it's relatively easy and looks convincingly real. They showed it. It looked like nearly like Manhattan-style city, and you can walk a player through it. And while you're doing it, you can change all the settings as to like removing the matrix filter, which puts like a blue-green filter on everything. And then you can do things like bring it down to like textures, shaders, and stuff like that. Like you can remove them and add them at will. And honestly, the game engine looks really good. It was also the showcase was done by the same studio that does Gears of War, which the name escapes me at the moment. No. God, I can never remember the name of the studio.
Is it not Gearbox?
It hasn't been Gearbox since Gears 2.
Oh.
Is it Take-Two?
God, no. Coalition. The Coalition. So the Coalition has been doing Gears games for the last few. And they've done a really good job graphically in other games, especially in older Unreal Engine. So it was a good team to stick it with. And I take back what I said about it looking bad. I think there were moments that weren't particularly interesting. But I think it does look good. But before we get to child labor, we've got some we've got some Keanu Reeves news.
He's a good guy.
He is a good guy. So something that I thought was, and I'm going to play the video here, but I don't think it detracts from the audio listeners. So I just thought this was kind of fun. And The Verge asks Keanu Reeves what he thinks about himself being in VR porn in
mods for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
to have sex with Keanu.
And it's fun.
Well, now I'm going to buy it.
No.
Even Cyberpunk?
No, I mean, I've seen demonstrations, but I've never played it.
Did you know that in Cyberpunk they were hacking a character? You were the most requested hack to make a a character that you could have sex with be your character.
Yes.
And it got to a point where the game developer said, no, you can't do this because we're not sure if we have permission to do this.
Oh.
But I mean, now that I have you, like, what do you think about that?
Oh my God, it's always nice when it's nice.
It was affection.
I, on the other hand, say no, thank you.
So that's a no,
No,
from
thank you.
But
Keanu's fine with it.
No, because think of how much money is in porn, right? So you could not even have to be there, and people could have digital sex with your digital avatar. What's that? What's it
Smart.
called right now for
Yep.
members only? You could do a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And then you get the suit that's
He's
probably
referencing
made in
OnlyFans.
Sweden or some German thing. Oh my God! And then
I
you got
hope
the VR
that I do not
thing.
live to see this.
Oh my God! And then they've got the data on you with your your arousal
getting into
metrics.
this.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
I did not see this conversation go
Right.
here. But
So then you're in the suit with arousal metrics through your members only Metaverse X.
God help us. That's all I'm going to
And
say.
so then you're like, take everything off, and then how do you feel about the relationships you're in?
right.
Great.
What is real? What is not?
Right? But then you hold that real thing, and you're like, oh man, I'm so glad we have reality.
Carrie Ann
gonna
Moss
be
could
hit up
not
as being like
give
a chief creative
any
officer
fewer
of some
fucks
porn
about this
company now.
conversation.
Oh my
She's
gosh,
like that
you'd
the
be-
whole interview.
be huge. I'll be the ethicist or whatever.
One
Those
of
are my
these people I
questions.
want to hang out
mean,
with.
I feel like we
Yeah.
covered a lot of ground.
The other one I do not.
He went
Yeah.
through a whole arc there. It's like a paradigm shift.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's hard to keep Keanu Reeves on track. It seems like
Yeah.
for one thing, because he's got like that maybe neurodivergent brain where it's like, there's this possibility A, B, and C. Let's explore those, and it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that interview.
Gamut of stuff there, right?
Yeah.
It's like you got the German suit,
Yeah.
the Swedish suit
Yep.
with arousal metrics.
And on that, so you and I were talking earlier, and we actually both had parts of the Verge interview that we wanted to talk about, and you had another one with Keanu
That
Reeves.
same. I think I sent it and.
You did. I have it ready. So
Yeah, cute up. It's just the same interviewer asked him Keanu how he feels about NFTs, and is a funny answer.
it's yeah.
Did you guys see the Matrix NFT thing that they did for Resurrections just a couple days ago?
No.
They made NFTs for the new movie, and there were like 100,000 of them, and the site broke like in the first few hours because there were over 300,000 people in the queue trying to buy these NFTs for $50. And so like when you think about the concept of digital scarcity and things that are, they can't be copied.
That are easily reproduced.
Well, but they're not the same, right? It's not a fake version of you.
I wonder do we get a cut of that? Oh no, I don't. Actually, I don't think we're in them. They probably did other people.
You have to take that up with the studio. I don't know.
Yeah, you could just tell he's totally not
Again.
hoodwinked by the ideas of NFTs.
Carrie Ann Moss giving fewer fucks than a prom night virgin up there.
Yeah, she was not paid enough for that interview.
She's like,
She honestly
Here.
seems like an uptight, unpleasant person to be around.
Honestly,
She kinda
think about it this way: if you were an actor and you're a good actor, and you do a movie in 1999 or 98, and everybody always remembers you from that movie, and you can't escape it 20-something years later, there's a lot of actors like that, right?
She should be a better actress or something because what has she been in of note? And
she was she was Jerry Hogarth in all of the Netflix Marvel stuff. She was a high-powered lawyer.
I have friends of Jessica Jones, right?
And she was in Luke Cage, and she was in the Glowy Fist Boy.
Was she good in those?
She was in
Yeah, I mean, she was a bitch. She was a high-powered, like, mean lady lawyer. So, yeah, kind of.
Maybe a character actor.
The other movie I remember from was Memento, which is either right around or shortly thereafter the Matrix movie came out anyway. So
She's been in like 25-something movies since she stopped doing Matrix. So
I mean, does that say something about maybe you should just be thankful you still get money from the Matrix?
that's why she's there at the interview. She might have a toot about it, but like at least she's letting it happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they asked her to come back. I mean, they did not ask Lawrence Fishburne to come back. So
She's apparently also voicing in Mass Effect. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I have not seen... I don't watch movies. I'm weird. So
well, you're going to watch a movie next week.
have I seen any of these? I don't think so. So yeah, real quick, I want to touch on it just because I'm not a fan of exploiting children. We've talked a few times about how fucking big Roblox is and just touched on it. Well, there is a YouTube channel called Shut Up and Sit Down that reviews board games, and it's great. And they've some of the people who did that have gone on to make their own games journalism channel called People Make Games. If you like games and you like the idea of games and what games are all about, go watch their shit. People Make Games, look it up. It's fantastic. But they recently did an expose on Roblox, the company, and how Roblox works and how they make money and how the whole thing goes down. It's fantastic. They show how awful the setup is. And that was about a week ago. And then a few days ago, they put out another video saying Roblox asked them to take the video down. And it gets even more juicy from there. I don't want to spoil a whole lot. The videos are 20, 30 minutes long. I highly recommend you watch them. I'll find a way to give you the link. But here's a rundown from the first video on what's going on with Roblox. So Roblox is essentially an app store within an app store, right? They call their games experiences so they can get around it. But whereas Steam has 50,000 games thereabouts on the Steam platform, Roblox has 20 million. Because anyone who plays Roblox can make their own experience. Mm-hmm. They have their own in-game tool, which gets around having to know how to code to create these games that other people can play. 9 to 15-year-olds play the game. It's 200, 300 million, some very large amount of people play the game.
It's the biggest game now.
They make more money than Nintendo. They went from like $4 billion of revenue in 2020 to 32 in 2021 or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And here's the issue. So you're a kid, you get on there. On the front page of Roblox up until recently, it said like, play millions of games, explore them and do all your own things and have a chance of making a lot of money. Because there is an in-game freemium currency called Roblox. And saying Roblox and Roblox during this conversation is
Robux.
Roblox. There we go.
Daddy Robux.
So let's start off. Steam takes 30% of the sales of their games, and they've gotten a lot of shit for it. Epic and the rest take about 12%. Roblox takes 75.5%. They're worth more than Nintendo. And the problem is you're a kid and you make a game, right? When you go to their like game list to look at what games you can play, their experiences, there's no tools for searching for new or upcoming games. So you have like these top 200, 300 games that are always popular. And to get a chance of your game maybe catching on, assuming you made a good game, you can pay Robux for a chance at winning a spot to get an ad to put you towards the top of the page. So gambling, real money. Mind you, Roblox, depending on how much, or Robux, depending on how much you buy at once, is around $1 per Robux, right? So let's say you do make a good game and it does catch on somehow and you manage to break through from the other 20 million games to like the top 200 and people are playing. To actually earn money, you have to cash out at 100,000 Robux, which at the time of their video, I think transferred to $1,000 USD, right?
Wow.
Second Life has a minimum withdrawal of $10.
Yeah.
Just to put that in comparison, right? And then when you transfer that money back out, that $1,000, you're not getting $1,000. Roblox is buying the Robux back from you at 33 cents a share. So you get $350 for that $1,000 that you've earned.
I believe they take 30% of the sales.
Okay, well, I'm just repeating the numbers that they said in the video. So once you've earned 100,000 Robux, you can cash that out, which is worth about $1,000, but you get $350 because they're essentially buying that freemium currency back from you. It's essentially script at this point, right? Devs, mostly kids at this point, who are legitimately working to make these games, they're doing actual work, end up having to pay Robux to other devs and other dev groups to help work on their game to try to have any chance of showing up. Mm-hmm. And that's just the start of the video. And it just gets worse from there. And seeing the response video it got my blood boiling. So I recommend checking them out. I'll get the link to you guys. And don't give Roblox any more money.
I've got an answer for you on screen.
47.3 million daily active users.
Woof.
So about 1 in 10, 1 in 9 Americans is a good example of that number.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's like every other kid in America, just about.
Yowza.
And it says that, so Roblox takes a percentage up of 90% for normal members.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You also have to pay a $5 monthly subscription to be able to pull out money in the first place.
Of course you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you get 30% for premium members is the cut they take.
Yeah.
From any of their item sales. That might be different than game development fees.
Yeah, the item sales, there's a whole black market in Roblox, and yeah, it's...
that's what they get into in that second video.
Yeah.
The black market.
But yeah, child labor. They need to stop that.
Yeah, I did think it was pretty coincidental that like we've brought up Roblox a couple times just because it's been making headlines with how big it get, and yet none of us really had, like, or at least some of us had like no idea what this game even was. Like,
I only know about it because nieces play it. I've watched them play it and whatnot, and it's like freemium game like anything else. You know, every individual game has stuff you can buy for Robux in it.
Yeah.
And not all of that necessarily, if I am correct, transfers out to the other games, right? And yeah, it's. Ugh.
But yeah, I mean, now that these 2 videos have come out and stuff, I can definitely just write off Roblox as being a huge fucking grift.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have anything else?
Yes. So in kind of Twitch and gaming news,
Ooh.
Dr. Disrespect is making a game development company.
Okay.
And he's got some big names. So
Purple.
it's gonna be a AAA game studio, is what he says, called Midnight Society.
Cool name.
He says Midnight Society is a killer team of veteran AAA talent that lives, breathes, and sleeps in the realm of PvP multiplayer that's turning tables upside down in the games industry with a new kind of game studio and publishing model over a decade in the making. So it's something that he's been talking about for quite some time, and something that he's alluded to in the past about having a big ass announcement. But we were just talking about the head dev of Halo Infinite leaving.
Yeah.
This is where he's going.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So he's not kidding when he's talking about like A-listers.
Getting some talent. Yeah.
Yeah,
fuck.
for real. And then Call of Duty creative strategist Robert Bowling, and it's Halo 5's multiplayer designer Quinn Del Hoyo. So it seems and those guys are going to be heading the studio. So that's some real talent. And Dr. Disrespect has what I would say is generally a pretty good model for how multiplayer PvP games should be.
I definitely, as somebody that doesn't watch a ton of his content, the bit I've seen and stuff, I do agree with him a lot on the stuff that he's like complaining or pointing out as wrong in a lot of these games. And we earlier in the podcast, we were talking about how so many shooters are just fucking generic now, and they don't feel good or they're pushing the limits at all.
They're there to make money.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of curious to see what he comes up with.
Yeah, me too. And Sable brings up a good point. It's such a prime market to poach talent. In the games industry, most devs are fed up with the shit they get from their publishers on the regular.
Last time I remember a big Call of Duty name leaving, they started Respawn Entertainment and made Titanfall.
Right.
So lightning strikes twice, maybe?
There might be something to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I like that a lot of these big heads from game studios are coming out and starting their own companies.
It's kind of easy to do when the companies you're working for are fucking levels of hell.
Yeah, levels of hell, but did manage to pay you a lot of money, so now you can go do that. So that's nice. I mean, at least on the executive level, of course. Only the executive level.
Yeah, and the same Dr. Disrespect stuff. I was watching a clip just the other day where he was talking about his whole Twitch ban and stuff, and he just flat out mentioned that like there was a long period of time where they didn't know why Twitch had kicked him, and they're now at the point that they do know.
Yeah.
But he still can't talk about it. And
Can't
stuff,
talk
'cause he's
about
like, because we're in litigation.
Yeah.
Like we're suing them for
Yeah.
what they did, and I'm like, oh, okay, so there's There might be some delicious juice coming up, and
I read
There
on
might be some real
Reddit
movement.
yesterday or today about that. It has something to do with him being on YouTube, or it was some kind of streaming litigation issue thing. At least that's what they were thinking. But
the theory is, I mean, Andy and I have talked about it a couple times. It's he's trying to leverage his popularity on Twitch to go to another platform, and Twitch was like, well, fuck you, because it all happened around the time to where they got Shroud and stuff to come over to Mixer, and Facebook was looking to try to poach people. YouTube was trying to poach people, and then Twitch found out that I think Dr. Disrespect was like trying to leverage that position, and so when everything else failed, they were like, we're just not going to let you like back on the platform.
But I mean, who isn't though? I mean, at this point where, especially end of Q4, where you're looking at a lot of contracts going up, it's pretty easy to terminate them when guy over here is willing to pay you twice as much as Twitch is, with a lot more promotion. Look, do you guys know of Ludwig leaving Twitch to go to YouTube?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Kind of a big deal.
I don't know who Ludwig is, but I mean, I get that he's a big streamer.
He's the guy that did the not ending stream until I have the most subscribers on Twitch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which he did. So he's kind of a big deal in the inner Twitch sphere, and he just straight up and left for YouTube because YouTube said we've got the fucking bags.
What's his controversy? Did he try to fuck children?
Ludwig?
No.
Did he cheat on his wife?
Nope.
Okay. Did he?
Not saying that Dr. Disrespect tried to fuck children.
No. I'm just going through the list of all the shit. Like you like a popular streamer, and then like a couple years down the road.
Controversy. He had some problems with his wife, and he was streaming live with a camera in his hand, and went to a bathroom, and there was a child peeing in it. It was a whole thing that probably didn't need to be a thing, but maybe it did it. I didn't follow it close enough to know.
Yeah.
So,
I know he cheated on his wife and all that.
To clarify, yes, he cheated on his wife. That was a very public thing. We're not pointing fingers at any. I just want to make it clear. We're not saying that any one of these streamers necessarily did this thing. We were just making a generalization of what happened to said streamer.
I'm just making a point that like so many big streamers have then later come out, or even I call them content creators, get really big, and then once everyone's like, oh, we really like this guy, we find out that they're slightly fucking scumbags or super scumbags.
Skeletons come out of the closet.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm hoping that Ludwig is not somebody that like 2-3 years down the road we find out he fucking
he fights dogs.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Right.
No.
Yeah, nothing like that. No.
I have mulched all of my closet skeletons.
Good.
They cannot be found.
Well, until we get a big Twitch audience, somebody will fucking find them.
They're all mushrooms now. Miracle Grow on that shit.
So another thing that they showed off at the Game Awards, or what they announced, was that Final Fantasy VII Intergrade is making its way to the Epic Games Store.
What's an Intergrade?
It's the full Final Fantasy VII Remake thing. So Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, then they did DLC with Yuffie and an entire new storyline. Attaching her to
the story?
No, God no. Jesus.
So
they introduced one character. And
so what's Intergrade then?
That's what I just explained.
It's the first one plus the DLC.
Yes.
It's like a package deal.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, you can, yeah. At any rate, so, the Intergrade is going to be on the Epic Games Store. That's how they're selling it. They're not selling, like, just the Final Fantasy VII Remake without DLC. It's coming with Intergrade. The system requirements are not too bad. Our Radeon RX 480. I mean, in this, we've talked about system requirements for PC lately. It's been on my mind a lot lately because we all PC game, and some of us don't quite have access to some of the, titles.
Nice way of putting it.
Yeah. Some of us don't have access to some of the titles that others are playing. So especially when you're trying to play with friends, system requirements actually fucking matter. Yeah, big time. So it's nice to see that like AAA game coming out on, that's out on PlayStation 5, looks incredible. Doesn't have like astronomical system requirements.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm excited about that because it looks like it's going to be playable on pretty much most modern machines.
Did you see the Final Fantasy $70 hullabaloo?
Hullabaloo.
That it was going to be priced at $70?
Yeah.
I mean, they have been already. The PS5 games are $60 or $70.
So how much games cost? Well, half a game that they give you when it releases costs these days.
Yeah. I mean, it's
extremely rare that video games have gone so long staying at the same price. That's like they're an outlier in like every other
They are.
product known to man.
They've been effectively immune to inflation so far. And like NES games used to come out oftentimes at $50 and $60. So to see that the price hasn't changed much to adjust for inflation, it's it's been immune to what everything else has not been. So to see it go to $70, it sucks. $60 feels like a lot of money for a video game. $70 feels that much more, obviously, but it's not. We saw it coming.
The key point is you used to get a whole fucking video game for $50.
True.
Now I get 1/3 of a video game for $70.
What if the trade-off that they've like ran the numbers for is that like we can keep just losing money over inflation stuff because the price of these games never goes up, and keep doing what we've done and been devoting all this time and play testing and quality assurance into these games and release them. But if we're going to make these complete games, we're going to have to finally raise the price of video games. And so they compare that against like, is the community going to accept a raise in the price of video games? No, we probably won't. So instead, we'll put less time and effort into completing the game, launch it at the $60 underpriced game. If we're going to be realistic, like if they'd gone up with inflation, games would cost a lot more than $60.
Yeah.
And that way they can get more money and revenue while they're still developing the game instead of having to raise the base price of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That could be something.
The biggest like stake in all this argument is in my opinion, the majority of the best games that come out in the last 10, 20 years have been indie games that are under $30. So at the end of the day, like if you want to pay double that price for good graphics and have a good chance of the game being shitty, like by all means. But there are so many fantastic games out there that are under $30 that I don't really see the argument other than, okay, you've got 500 people working on the game and it's gorgeous. That's the only reason I would ever pay more money is because it's the only thing you're getting over that. If you have 9,000 people working on a game, doesn't mean it's going to be better, right?
I don't disagree with you. Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing.
I like what you said, but like that's the biggest kink is that there's too many games out there that are way cheaper that, like at the end of the day.
Well, I'm definitely not advocating for the systems in place because what I'm describing is clearly just a capitalistic structure where they're always going to be trying to figure out how do we make the most money. Because realistically, if they put out a Call of Duty game for $20, they're going to be still making money hand over fist, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're not losing money on a $20 copy of Call of Duty because so many people purchase it.
Halo makes money; it's free.
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of that fucking corporate capitalist structure to where in everything else capitalism raises or the price of stuff raises with inflation. Video games haven't done that. So to cut costs and try to keep maximizing revenue, they've changed, these AAA titles have changed their strategy to like, let's stop wasting so much time putting out a complete game when we can put out a fucking alpha version.
And they can do that because people pay for it.
Yeah.
They're not going to bother making a full game if they're making money hand over foot with these half-assed games.
Realistically, how do you typically market other products, right? You make a product and you determine how much money went into materials and how much your time is worth to create it, and then you set a price that's reasonable markup for what you think people will pay, right?
I think it's better to consider this as a form of media. So compare it to movies or books or music, right? As opposed to like a chair.
I mean, it's the same concept though, right? You're going to take how much time and cost went into producing this thing and then expect, X amount of return,
it's different
right?
pricing a chair and considering margins than it is pricing tickets for a movie, right?
It is,
so part of the reason I think games were able to stay about the same price is because the volume of sales has increased, right? If we had the same number of gamers that we had in 1996 buying video games, they'd be a hell of a lot more expensive.
Yeah,
that's the only way they'd be able to make money. But now gaming's like practically the biggest form of media out there.
It is.
If you consider all games from Farmville to fucking Paradox games.
I definitely understand what you're saying. When you have to factor in popularity of the genre into your pricing model, it definitely gets a little wonky because you're essentially got to gamble that people will enjoy the thing.
Pricing
you made.
models can be anything from you pay $60 to get the whole game to free to play with freemium, with DLC, with early access. With
so many different pricing models now.
Yeah. And even more volatile of a market to be in considering people's interests are like flash fires,
Yep. And that's why you see like every game studio has to put out a battle royale.
That's why TikTok's next game is either going to crash the company or take over the world.
Fair.
They're going to put out a game and it's going to be horrible and that'll be in the TikTok, or it's going to be the best thing ever. And that'll be it.
Yeah.
Game over, bro.
I am satisfied paying what I think the game is worth. If I don't
That's
think
the
it's
whole goal.
Yeah, I don't think if at the end of the day, like if a game comes out, I look at the gameplay, I see the trailer, and then I see the price. If the price doesn't satisfy me, I wait until it goes on sale.
Like when I played Horizon Zero Dawn, I bought it on sale. It was like $20, and I played it once, and it was like 30, maybe 40 hours of content. It's great. I've also paid, about maybe a total $70, $80 for Stellaris, but I have 1,000 hours in the game, But those are two different experiences to me. I was happy with both of them
for sure.
So a direct translation of money per minute, enjoyed, it doesn't really work.
A lot of people do that dollar per hour thing, and it's like, no.
It's really weird because like we'll go see a movie. It's like $15 for a movie ticket. But like you don't think about it when I'm like, I could buy I could buy Celeste for $15 and it would be amazing, right?
You DoorDash something, it costs you $25 versus the $15 indie game that you've had in your wish list for 6 years.
Cognitive dissonance about like
100%.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, big time.
I literally just sitting here yesterday and like ordered $20 worth of Jimmy John's to the house, and then like 2 hours later, I'm agonizing over whether or not I want to spend $18 to buy this thing in this game that I'm playing.
You described my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing the game for 2 years, and I'm like, I don't know, man.
It's hard to pull that trigger.
$18 on this fucking.
I don't know, man.
I mean, there's also the like my moral stand of buying overpriced skins.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
If it
Anyways,
was $5, I'd be like,
how are we on time?
We are running long,
Good.
so it is about time to end
All right.
things.
That's how I like to run things.
So real quick at the end, I do want to mention that we just became Twitch affiliates. Come join us over on Twitch. We've got new emotes, ways to interact with your chat. We are gonna come.
We're going to come.
Remember, if you haven't and you're part of the Twitch chat, we are over on YouTube. We have a presence everywhere on every podcast platform.
I'm in your closet.
So if you don't want to watch us for 3.5 to 4 hours discussing these things, we totally get it.
I mean, we're disappointed.
Yeah, come chat with us. But if you don't, if you're not a fan of the format, go over to YouTube. We condense it down to just the podcast without the extra filler bits in the beginning, middle, end. Or if you're audio only, or you just want to take us out on the go and you want to continue the podcast in the car, we're on every podcast platform. So just a quick reminder here at the end of things that you can consume us however you want, baby.
Yeah, we're actually talking about converting to semaphore for the people who don't even like podcasts.
Or if you're hearing impaired, I mean, I don't know how I'm talking to you right now, but unless you're watching the YouTube video,
Text-to-speech.
we did recently get approved for closed captioning on YouTube that does it automatically, and it does a pretty fucking good
I thought
job.
they got rid of it.
No, man, it's on our podcast. What up?
I thought you had to pay for it.
Nope.
Shit, that's awesome because they got rid of it there for a hot minute.
Oh
and
yeah,
it
I didn't have to do
sucked.
anything except for opt in, and we didn't have enough viewers and whatnot. So
What's the dislike button?
Yo,
we're also gonna give a special podcast shout out to our two first subscribers.
yes, absolutely. So we have Kadex and Kona Hula, who I like to call Brono Hula because he's a fucking bro. He is a real one. He's here for everything. Kadex, relatively new viewer, came in and subscribed to us today. Got her emotes.
And I believe Konahula, as the first subscriber, requested that we take a bath in tiny hands or something along those lines.
something
What
like
was
that.
it?
Something like that, but we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time.
Have a good night.
Yes.